You almost certainly need to be prepared for a 50% down move. I'm going to keep a substantial position in gold until a few things happen. One, the federal budget is balanced. Two, we have a fiscal regime in place. Three, the bull market will stay intact too, but it will certainly test your patience, your faith, and your bank account.
Everyone's talking about gold, but silver, it's the sleeping giant. Rick Rule is about to drop the truth. A 50% crash inside a bull market, and why that could be your biggest opportunity yet. The smart money is watching. The question is, will you act or miss it? Watch till the end. This could change everything.
I don't know how to answer the question for that listener, but let me tell you how I'm answering it for myself. I think that gold does well during periods of time when people are concerned about the maintenance of their purchasing power in fiat-denominated instruments. So I'm going to keep a substantial position in gold until a few things happen. One, the federal budget is balanced. Two, we have a fiscal regime in place that will handle and service $100 trillion in unfunded entitlement liabilities. Three, until the interest rate on the U.S. Treasury exceeds what I consider to be the real rate of inflation, which I consider to be between 7.5% and 8.5%, and until aggregate federal debt is lower than GDP. Now, if you add those four factors together, it may be that I have to hold my physical gold until the 12th of never. But I don't have any artificial peg in place that says when gold goes to 3,500, I'm going to sell. Or if the gold price falls from 3,500 to 3,200, I'm going to sell. Remember that we measure gold in a floating abstraction called the US dollar. When other forms of savings appear to me more attractive than gold, believe me, I will sell gold and buy those. But measured clearly in a US dollar circumstance, as I say, I'm buying gold to shield my purchasing power from the declining purchasing power available to me in conventional savings products. And until I see those threats disappear, I'll continue to hold my gold. You almost certainly need to be prepared for a 50% down move in bull markets. Precious metals are notoriously volatile, and silver is more volatile than the rest. I'm reminded of the decade of the 1970s, where in the beginning of the decade, gold was up from $35 an ounce to $200 an ounce. In early 1975, the Fed, concerned about inflation, raised the interest rate, which cratered the gold price. It fell from $200 an ounce to $100 an ounce in 9 short months. Of course, the Fed lost its nerve because it cratered the bond market and the stock market too. When the Fed reversed course, the gold price ran from $100 an ounce to $850 an ounce. What's important to remember is that if the underlying conditions favoring a bull market stay intact, the bull market will stay intact too, but it will certainly test your patience, your faith, and your bank account in the interim. And I think probably we're due in the near term for a rest in terms of the gold price. It's also worthy to note that silver has not, as of yet, kept up with gold's pace. As long as you say a digital monetary system, not the monetary system, governments will never back their currencies with gold. They will not do it. It imposes a discipline on them. It reduces their power. And people go into politics for power. The beautiful thing about the age that we're living in, Dunnigan, is that with this proliferation of currencies, there doesn't need only to be official sector currencies. A currency can be whatever you and I decide it can be. It can be physical gold, or coming soon to a wallet near you, a gold token. We will see this in the near term. It is highly unlikely that this currency will enjoy any official backing whatsoever, and that doesn't particularly matter to me. I'm a consumer of currencies, and I love the fact that a whole bunch of people are out there trying to invent new ones which will serve me better. A physical gold token, backed by reputable organizations, 100% secured by gold and redeemable for gold, I think would be a superb currency. And I believe that it's technologically feasible now, and I think it will occur 2 or 3 years from now. That's a bigger question, probably. I think history rhymes as opposed to repeats, and I think that many of the lessons of history will be useful for us. There are, of course, some differences. There are more of us. Information travels faster. There's much more credit in society, so a dislocation will inconvenience some more than it's inconvenienced others. And of course, we need to remember that through technology, unlike any period in recorded history, we have the fairly easy ability to kill everybody on Earth if the big thinkers that run us make some mistake and lose their sense of humor. So I guess the stakes are higher. But, our ability to muddle through is higher, too. When I do my truly scary arithmetic about the aggregate obligations of the U.S. government relative to their ability to steal from me and how hopeless that looks, I need to remember that the circumstances has looked lousy for 50 years. And the United States in particular is still a culture where a group of kids can commandeer a garage in Sunnyvale, and out pops Google or Apple or Facebook or something like that, which is to say, despite the fact that I'm very nervous about our collective stupidity, I'm delighted that through technology, our individual creativity and tenacity has at least thus far financed our collective stupidity. So while the arithmetic would suggest that pessimism should be the order of the day, I remain long-term an optimist. I think that well, first of all, I think this is going to turn around and bite them. I wouldn't have said that 3 or 4 years ago, but I do think it's going to turn around and bite them. The Wall Street guys do what's easy. And for 40 years, beginning in 1982, the U.S. dollar was ascendant and precious metals were descendant. Silver being more volatile than gold, it was an easier thing to short. The second thing is that the silver market is extraordinarily leveraged. Many days, 100 or 200 times the amount of silver available for good delivery trades hands in the futures market. What that means is that it's remarkably easy to short for big people. These masters of the universe create short ladders going out 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 18 months, borrow a fair amount of physical silver, sell that silver in the overnight market when the liquidity is the least, so that they can have the biggest impact on the silver market, and then look for the price signal from the physical market to impact the futures market. If somebody is short, let's say $1 billion worth of silver in the futures market, and somebody uses $50 or $75 million worth of silver, they lose, say, $10 million on selling into the physical market. In effect, you're investing $10 million in your loss in the physical trade to make $50 or $60 million in the long-term trade. This works until it doesn't. I have now been through 3 real bull markets in precious metals in my life. And I don't know why it's true, but what I do know that is true is that in precious metals bull markets, and we're in one, by the way, let's not equivocate about that anymore. When the momentum is established by gold, and that momentum attracts generalist investors to the precious metals market, when those people come down into the precious metals market, market leadership changes from gold to silver. Why? I don't know. Maybe because of the lower unit price. But what I do know is that you won't need Rick Rule to tell you when you're in a silver market. And a short position in a market with the upside volatility that silver has relative to almost any other commodity on the face of the earth, I believe has the ability to deliver truly a religious experience to the short side, irrespective of the structure of the market. These short guys do whatever's easy. I remember in the decade of the 70s, there was a lot of manipulation in precious metals markets to the upside, because that was the bias in the market. Wall Street learns thoroughly, but they learn slowly. They do now what made them money for 40 straight years, and they will do it until, like 2008, they learn one of these character-building lessons. Absolutely. I think a central bank digital currency is what our government and most governments would like to use. There has been talk about doing with digital currency what the Zimbabweans did with paper currency, which is to say to put an expiration date on it. And there will be a group of people around there who have no sense of humor for that. I don't see that sort of draconian future coming to the United States right now, if for no other reason that there are 400 million guns in private circulation in the United States, and there's only so much aggravation Americans can take. There are easier ways for our government to steal from us right now than to steal our currency. They can cause inflation, which is very popular. They don't get criticized for it. In fact, they get reelected for it. They can run up debt and deficits, which is a different form of theft. They can raise taxes, particularly on the rich. They don't need to confiscate your currency. They don't need to confiscate your IRA. Doing so would run a risk that passive opposition to the government became active opposition. And the government is aware of the fact that there are 400 million guns in private circulation. I don't know the answer to that. That's a bigger question than I mean, I can tell you what I do. I write the FinCEN letter on myself. I tell the government how much I'm moving and where, and I tell them why. I've actually filed a FinCEN on myself saying that I was wiring $50,000 to Canada for the purpose of buying physical gold outside the reach of the U.S. government. I put that on a U.S. government document. I suspect that those documents go in a great big warehouse where nobody reads them until they want you. And if they want you, they're going to get you. So I know that the gentleman is looking for a more covert answer than that, but I'm not a very covert guy. I'm just not. I do what I do. I document it as thoroughly as I can so that I avoid a perjury or an obstruction charge, and I live my life.
If that opened your eyes, imagine what's coming next. Don't miss a single insight. Hit that like button, subscribe for more game-changing updates, and smash the bell icon so you're first when the next wave hits. Thanks for watching. Stay sharp, stay prepared.